Why are you talking about figs?
Good question, Joel.
Curious, you know what I mean?
Tom's had some figgy pudding for
Okay.
Christmas.
All right.
Which you made a reasonable deduction from the, was an English staple at Christmas. At least the carol fingers, anyway. Hey, you're right, Gary.
Hey, Gary. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey.
Happy Christmas, Gary.
Hey, great. Oh, Gary.
It was good. It was good. It was all right. Better than Steve's.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too. You too, mate. Thank you. Alrighty, well, let's so I'm reliably informed by Mr. Kens that it is indeed a squat session tonight. So we'll do a little bit of stuff. I thought what the opening plan will be to do. So this first thing that we're going to do, it comes with a pattern and a question. So we're going to start off with a sphinx. And the question is what on earth does a sphinx have to do with a squat? And I've got one thing in my mind. Steve probably has 10 things in his mind, but we'll see what answers you come up with after practicing a bit of a sphinx. So, let's see. If everyone remembers what a sphinx is and what you're after, I think the key things, maybe just to have your elbows directly under your shoulders, I think is a good starting point. So they're neither too far forward or too far back, and neither too abducted or adducted. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's perfect. Really good. And then once you're in that posture, if you keep your elbows where they are, but just let your hands touch, so you kind of bring your hands into your midline, and then see if you can just lift one forearm, just one, by keeping your upper body and your head completely still. See if you can just lift one hand up, just to touch on the other side of the opposite hand. That's it, and then place it back again.
That's really good, Gary.
In the original posture.
Although, Gary, try to make sure that when you return the hand, you return it to the same position. Because actually, if you notice now, both your elbows are outside. That's it. So you get that there. So elbows are under the shoulders and the hand, yeah. And so now touch it back. That's it. So the hands are over. Perfect. And then do the other one. Excellent. Now, you're maybe a little narrow with your elbows now. So if the elbows go, that's it.
Yeah, right on.
So now, because your elbows are underneath the shoulder, you'll have a lot more support. If the elbow's outside the shoulder, it's fine if both elbows are down. That's really supportive. But then the moment one is lifted, that's it. It's really weak. And so if there's something which is really powerful about finding the baseline posture, because everything builds off that. So if you find that baseline posture and then move on to the progressions from there, but then each time being able to refer back to that baseline, it just informs everything else and provides the quality and most often the stability to everything else. Linda, do you notice that when you lift your right elbow to touch over, that your left foot lifts up? There you go. Yeah. So now you've got an awareness of that. How to do that? Yes.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Did you feel you had to, or did you notice a change in your core when you kept that foot down as to when it came up?
I'm sorry.
Did you notice? Where do you notice a difference in the feel of the movement as to when you either deliberately keep it down or just pay no attention and it pops up?
Yeah, in my leg and in my hip.
The hips. That's where I would suspect.
Okay.
And I think that if you practice and then ingrain the pattern where you can keep that leg down without either bracing or, just with intention, that is going to be an improved pattern, which will feed up the chain from there.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, well done, guys. So, any clues? What relevance does this have to the squat? Why would we even consider doing a Sphinx in a session devoted to the squat?
The question we could ask before that is, what does the Sphinx offer? What's the key deliverable, if you will, or asset, or what's the key? What's the prize from the Sphinx? Just full stop. What does it teach us? Sphinxy stuff. Well, just even if you think it's, it should be totally obvious. It just shout out anything that's either in your mind. And then if you can't think, sorry, say again.
The obvious one.
Well, but for the Sphinx, what are the key assets that, or attributes that the Sphinx builds?
It's triple flexion, and I guess would the Sphinx be isolating the flexion of or the spine, position of the spine in the swan?
Yeah, exactly that, mate. But I mean, so, and this is also one of the key things. You there's no magic in knowing the medical terms as such for things. Because what actually delivers is spinal extension. So that of the spine curving that way is extension. When it curves the other way is flexion. I think people can tend to think extension's a straight line and flexion is the only time anything bends. Well, no, it can bend both ways. One way is flexion, the other way is extension. Anything else? We actually saw an example of how a correction can be a benefit further up the chain, and how something that is seemingly just upper body can also be upper and lower body. Because the thing is, any functional movement is always total body.
Must be something with opening your hips and core stability and opening your chest and keeping your head up.
It's that, yeah. There's another thing there is cervical extension. But what you said there, the core stability, everything's connected. And so if you're going to put the spine into extension, well, it has to be held there because it's connected to everything else. There's going to be a consequence. And so there will be core stabilization patterns that are required to hold the spine in extension. And then that was something that we pointed out with yourself there, whereby the core stabilization pattern you were using to put yourself into spinal extension was fine just for spinal extension. But then when you tried to introduce a level of complexity to it, which was resistance to rotation, then you noticed that it had a compromise, and that leg was lifting up, which would be like it was a counter rotation in the.
To be honest, I didn't notice it myself.
Yeah. Which is it's fine as ever. It's always the silent dysfunction that we want to find, and you probably wouldn't notice it yourself there, which you didn't. But then that slightly flawed stabilization pattern could then show up in a movement higher up the chain. Let's say it just shows up in the squat. And this is one of the things which underpins our whole approach to rebuilding your movement hierarchy. When you find out at the squat that you can't hold your spinal stabilization, if it's because, well, trying to fix it at the squat is going to be very difficult, if not impossible. But fixing it down at the Sphinx, well, you just showed us how easy it was to fix. All you needed was awareness. And, and there we go.
Yep.
So, there's a stabilization, core stabilization involved, but the hips are always involved. Simple as that. That's if me and Chris would never pose you any questions, just say the hips. We've got nothing else to say.
Okay.
And there's every chance. We'll go brilliant insight.
Yeah. That's that's like in biochemistry questions. The answer is always carbon, because carbon is involved with everything. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So, what should we do now? So now, let's do a happy baby roll. So, so grab whatever level along your legs you can, along the inside. And Steve, do you know your microphone's turned off?
Yeah, I'm just having a conversation with my daughter over me.
Oh, cool.
Because I mistakenly brought this up to the gym.
Okay.
I
didn't know if you were trying to say something to the group or not, so I didn't really.
No.
That's cool. That's cool.
There you go.
Okay. So here we go then. So So looks very good. Looks really nice. Now, Luke, see if you can thread your arms through the inside of your legs. You're going to thread, that's it. Luke, well done. And if you can, if you're able to hold on to your feet, that's really good. If you can just reach your ankles, and that's okay too. Yeah, well done, Luke. Well done. That's good. Nice.
That's really good, Gary. Remember to turn your head as well. So.
Amber, that was really good. Well done.
Oh, my one-legged.
Turn your head, Gary. Turn your head and look where you want to turn. That's it. Yes, really good. And if you can try to, in your practice, you can try to learn what breathing patterns help, as in when to breathe in and when to breathe out. So potentially, if you breathe in when you're rolling to one side, and then breathe out to get out of the position, and then breathe in again. That's looking better, mate. Yes, excellent. That's brilliant, Gary. That's that pattern nailed.
No. Yeah.
Really good, mate.
Good work, guys.
Be nice if you could get your turning the head into that a bit more, Jules. That's, yeah. I think it's that restriction in the cervical rotation is what's forcing you to throw yourself in to try to generate the momentum. If you can get that cervical rotation.
Alrighty. Okay.
I think
All right.
it's just a quick one. I'm not quite sure how well this will translate over the internet and for me without somebody to demonstrate on here. But something you might want to do to well, might be a nice little investigation for you, Luke. Luke? Yep. Sorry, you're fine, Luke. Jules is, you know what? So if you put Luke on screen, Crispin, if you don't mind. Did I say? I didn't say Luke again, did I? Sorry,
Yeah.
Jules.
Yeah.
Sorry, Luke. Yeah. So, Jules, if you well, first of all, in this position now, yeah, if you could orientate yourself so you're looking directly at the camera. Right, and so see if you can sit up straight without using your hands, first of all. Right, now I want you to just slowly look over either shoulder, just to assess the range you've got there. And that actually looks way more range than you were able to use in that role.
Okay.
There's another thing you can do now is if you lie down.
But in straight line to you?
Yeah, in a straight line if you can. And then keeping your neck relaxed and probably your head still on the floor. You look over each shoulder now. That's way more again, I would suggest. Would you agree, Jules? Do you feel like you're going not quite? You're still going further, I think, that way, but especially when you look over your left shoulder,
Okay.
I think you're looking even further again.
Right.
Now, what that's showing us is that when you're sitting up, some of the muscles that should be part of the team that's rotating that rotates you cervically, i.e. it turns the head to one side or the other. Some of the players in that team are actually being used to keep you upright, keep you in extension, and then because.
So what's involved? What did you say? Players involved. So what?
Right. So when we say players involved, most likely we're talking muscles.
Right.
So some of the muscles that should be rotating your head side to side are actually being used to keep your spine upright. Now, if they're busy being used to keep your spine upright, they either can't be used to turn your head either way, or can't be used as effectively to turn your head side to side. Now, what happened is when you then laid down, you didn't have to try to create upright spinal stability under gravity. So those muscles were freed up, and so all of a sudden you had greater range of movement of the head side to side. Now, what that then suggests is when you were in that rolling pattern, a number of those muscles, a greater number of those muscles, instead of just being involved in turning the head to rotate you, are actually being involved in a spinal stabilization pattern. You see what I mean? And so, because what tends to happen is if, like, you remember it in the baby roll there when you wanted to go, especially when you wanted to go to your right, you were flinging yourself to get that initial momentum.
What I find when we do the baby roll, when we start, I can go to the right. I always start going to the right, then I go over to the left, and I can't get back up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it takes a few goes for it to sort of click.
Yeah. Now, certainly off the top of my head, and quite possibly even if I studied it on you, I wouldn't be able to go, this is the reason for that. But certainly what you can say on a generic level is you're not using an authentic spinal pattern for that or core pattern for that. And because of the one you are using, it's having a bracing effect. And then the ones that should be rotating the head are getting used to brace. And so you then have a little bit of a vicious circle, if you see what I mean, because you can't then turn your head. And if you could turn the head, that would make the task easier.
Because it's working already.
You wouldn't have to brace,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So what I would potentially, what I would look to do when you think in there is to get in the starting position, be a little bit more relaxed. First of all, get your relaxed breathing. Now it's gonna be a form of, it's gonna be an extension roll rather than a flexion roll, because you're already in flexion, and it's like sort of coming out of flexion as such to start the roll off. And so you want to breathe in when you're going into extension. So you want to get in the position, big breath in, stay relaxed, turn your head, and then initiate the roll. Eyes, head, roll, and then see if that fires up a little bit of a better pattern for you. And then see if you can roll and get all the way over onto the other side. Repeat the same process to try and go back. I mean, you saw the difference it made with Gary there, where he was a little bit like a flipped up turtle, first of all. And then when he got the pattern, he was just rolling backwards and forwards like a natural. You know?
I think you mentioned being braced when I was doing it, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I don't feel it, when I start to do it, I don't feel it like a relaxed one to be getting into doing. So
yeah,
it's tight in it.
Yeah. And, you know, sort of, so obviously all of the things to help you in, just in the baby roll there, but there's like a bigger overall premise of showing you how, first of all, if you have a restricted range, people always assume that's a hardware problem, you know, and say, oh yeah, I just can't, you know, I haven't got the range of movement, I just can't turn it there. Where so often it's a software problem, i.e. you're using a pattern that's taking players out of a team they should be in, and putting them in one that they shouldn't really be there. And that can be true in so many different things, you know. And you know, you just demonstrated that perfectly there with the head rotation when you were sitting up, and then when you were lying down. Does everyone else sort of get the point I'm highlighting there?
Can I just say it's similar when party have asked me to raise the arms, and they've had real trouble. Well, I've had trouble with the right one particularly. Well, only really with the right one. But then you said, was it the Snow Angel or something like that?
Yeah, Snow Angel.
And it can get higher. So and that's taking gravity out of it again.
Yeah. Well, we're taking both gravity it's a little bit more subtle than that, in so much as trying to keep the spine upright under gravity. You know, and that's what the players are getting used. It's not so much that gravity's making it is like a greater load on that pattern in itself.
Right.
It's the pattern. Yeah, gravity will make that pattern work harder, but it's some of the players from that team are being taken out to keep the spine upright.
Yeah.
And then, as you're saying, it's even harder, and even harder with players taken out of the team. Well, I'm sorry, you're not going to perform anywhere near as well. But good learning point there. Hopefully, I didn't go too deep into the rabbit hole for everyone.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's leave our supported postures now, and let's delve into another kind of squat pattern before we get vertical with the squat pattern. Let's go from the quadruped, and we can practice going back into the dropping the weight down back onto your heels. Now, typically with a quadruped pattern, we're talking about getting your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. So we can do the hands under the shoulders thing, but with your knees, like you would in the squat, you can afford to go a little bit wider than you might do normally. So if that's my hands and knees in a regular posture, and what I can do is I can broaden out. I can broaden my knee stance, and then go dropping down onto my elbows, and then coming back into quadruped. Dropping back onto my elbows, dropping back onto my heels, and then lowering down to the elbows. I like personally, I like tucking my toes under, because that helps me to get into a little bit more dorsiflexion as well. But if you prefer, if it's more comfortable to do it this way, then you can have a go at both. But yeah, so just play around with that. See how you get on. Steve, would you suggest any particular breathing pattern with this, like breathing out as you go down, or don't you think it matters too much?
I would say first guide would be as to what feels comfortable and what works. My feeling would be to breathe in as you go down, with it, simply for the reason that is what I would advocate in someone doing a bodyweight squat.
Now, Tom, I wonder because it's probably, you probably find flexion a little bit easier than extension. Tom, do you want to have a go at, I know this is different to what I said originally, do you want to have a go at seeing if you can extend your spine as you go down, as your hips go down towards your heels? See if you can, so don't worry about trying to get your, actually that's not bad. Yeah, don't worry too much about getting your elbows on the floor. Just make it a priority. If you come back up again, Tom, don't worry about bending your elbows. Just see if you can get your heels back down onto, sorry, your bottom back down onto your heels, and see if you can keep that spine extended. Yes, yeah. See if you can really get into that lumbar curve if possible. Or that thrust.
Got it.
Yeah, well done, Tom. Yeah, just a couple more of them, and just seeing if you can keep that spine extended. Because I think, like you're doing in the Sphinx, getting that extension in your spine with the squat can be a really helpful thing. That's really good. Yeah, how do you feel?
Feel a little tight up here, but
Yeah.
not too bad.
So if you want to, you can relax your neck a little bit more. Don't worry about trying to extend your neck so much. It's more your thoracic spine. So if you come up again, just see if you can, Yeah. Now, see if you can extend your lumbar spine again a little bit more. Yeah, that's it, Tom. Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Yeah, and back up again. Good work. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, good work. Good work. How do you feel?
Okay, it's a new pattern, so it's a little different, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good work. Good work. Because I think well, see, if you go back again, Tom, just try that flexion pattern again where you are getting your elbows on the deck, and just let your head drop and go back. Yeah, let your chin drop, let your head go down. Let your head go down, get your head down to the floor. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that's your flexion, and then come back up again. So yeah, and then go back down into that. Let your head drop. Let your head drop. Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. And then back again. Yeah, good work. And now just try a couple more with the extension again and just see. So you're just trying to keep that spine extended. You can keep your elbows straight. Yeah, that's it. And come back in. It's tricky to switch between the two, maybe. So keep the elbows straight. Let your spine extend. Let your heels go. Your bottom go down to your heels. Yeah, good. Well done. Okay. Yeah.
There's something that might be helpful for you, Tom. It's quite demanding, but it's one of those great exercises where it sort of talks to you and it informs you as to your posture, as to your technique, and obviously your posture is part of your technique. And it's a challenging one, so don't laugh too much if it goes wrong. But pop a foam roller under there, and then come down into that position. There you go. Tells you when you're going wrong. There you go. You have a screen to look at, that helps as well. Right.
That's great, Steve. That's really nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, and I think just from that last bit there, if you are going to practice with that, especially if you're finding it challenging, which I imagine you probably will, get yourself in front of a mirror or use the laptop and get your on there. So I felt that was night and day between the one when I was facing forward. So that get it so you can do it when you're watching yourself, which is more information when you're going through, and then try being able to do it where the only information you're getting is both from your body and the foam roller, and then hopefully you'll progress where the only information you get is from your body, and that's so often what it's about. The quality of any decision whatsoever, whether it's made by a machine, whether it's made by your thinking, or whether it's being made by nature or your own physiology, the quality of it is totally dependent on the quality of information.
Righty, okay. any questions, Tom, or anyone else? Any comments or?
You haven't got a foam roller available for you, have you, Tom?
Not right now. It's in another room that's occupied.
Fair one. We can save you the first practice being a public one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alrighty, guys. So now we're gonna move into like a vertical component of a squat. So we'll just go from like a forming position. And then so, of course, we're getting the hip extension that we need to in squat, and then the hip hinge to sit down. And also, I also think like economy of movement is really like a really interesting concept here as well. So I could go too far forward with my nose and then try and come up, but or if I don't move my head at all, I could try and come up like that. But then the biomechanics aren't advantageous, and I couldn't go all the way up. So I've got to come forward a little bit. So it's just finding out what's the minimum amount I need to come forward where I can go all the way up and then get the hip hinge to go down. So the movement is just as quiet as possible. You're doing the minimum amount of movement that you need to get the maximum result. So do play around with that. If Amber, if you wanted to, work more on the non-weight bearing, some of the other things or a rolling or something, then you're welcome to do that if you'd like.
Okay.
Or you can watch if you prefer that too.
I like that too.
Yeah, me too.
Linda is always can be counted on to do it well.
Yeah.
Great, Gary. And go back down. Now take Now what you want to do is when you go down is start taking your full abdominal breath. So when you're sitting at the bottom, that's you either continue it. You want to have a full abdominal breath inside you at the bottom of the squat. So hope you want to start taking it in as you go down, and then obviously once you arrive, if you haven't got a full abdomen, then keep breathing. And then what that means is you can go up into tall kneeling on a forced out breath. And a forced out breath is going to create supplemental tension in your core to give you that stability that you want. And so what I would say to yourself, Gary, looks really good, is that when you get to a point in the range that you feel unsure about or you're no longer confident with, then if you could hold it there, great. If not, then just start breathing in and go back down. Don't try to go as high as you possibly can or go into a range where there's uncertainty. Just want you to go up to the limit of certainty and just experience it there, and then go down under control. Because you'll notice when that's better, because you're starting to lean over to your left. So you want to breathe in, so you've got that full core, and then make sure you drive up with that left leg. That left leg or left hip wants to be the driver. So you want to think about that left hip driving you up, but only go to the point of certainty. Now, if you actually don't know where that point is, well, then the first wobble that you feel is telling you you've gone that little bit too far, and then just go back down under control, because we want to make each attempt a successful one, because that's when you'll learn. And then if the first sign of a wobble is too late, then deliberately stop short. Just go up to a certain height that you know you can do, and then return back down. Now return down now, return down. It's better. Now control, get your breathing sorted. Keep awareness so you don't lean over to your left. And then breathe in, and then forced out breath as you go up. And then go back down, go back down. But remember to go back down under control. So you're going to breathe in when you go back down. Don't collapse. Breathe in and go back down. So let's try that again, guys. Now breathe in. And you can possibly use both your hands on your legs, particularly that left hand. It'd be useful if you could do it and go back down under control. Yeah. So it's often the way that it's on deceleration is the difficult part. And so what's happening is when you go back down, you're just collapsing. It's got to be a movement, and one that's being driven. And so that breath in, driving the movement, will help. So go back down, breathe in and go back down. And so what you need to do is start doing that. You're going too high. So you possibly think, it's not worthwhile only doing it this little bit. Well, it is, because you'll get competence at the little bit, and then you'll be able to go that little bit higher, then that little bit higher, then that little bit higher. And what you could also do is do it with a wall to your left side, because you always fall to the left. And that way, you don't want to use the wall to stop you falling, although it will. You want to use the wall to give you information when you're leaning over, so that you know, hang on, I need to correct, I need to correct. And what could also be helpful is Joni there with you?
Yeah.
Hi, Joni. Merry Christmas. Here's an interesting little experiment we could do. Is what I'd like you to do when Gary does this exercise.
Yeah.
Is for you to be on his right hand side and just apply a small amount of pressure, enough for Gary to notice it, to try to push him to the left. Now that might sound like a disaster, because he's already fallen to the left. Why are you pushing him? Well, he's fallen to the left because he's got a lazy stabilizer. He's got a stabilizer that doesn't know he's fallen over there. Well, if you actually, so go back down, don't start just yet, guys. So if you apply a pressure to push him over to the left, he should realize that and push back into you. So let's start off, Gary. Stay with your butt on your ankles. And Joni, if you apply some pressure to his right shoulder, as if to push him to the left, that's it, like that. And wait till you feel him push back into you. Yes, that's it. Now keep that pressure there. You keep pushing back, guys. Big breath in, keep pushing back, and keep pushing back as you go up into the squat. On and out breath, on and out breath. Push back into that hand, push back into that hand, and go back down. Push back into that hand as you go down. Now, that was way, way better on the way up, mate. Way, way better. Would you agree, Crispin?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary noticed, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's a really useful technique for you to learn that correction. Because at the moment, and this was definitely something which I had back in the day, I used to lean right over on one side, and that was what felt to me as being straight. And so somebody just telling me no, straighten up wasn't going to go anywhere. But if I got that feedback that Joni was going to you, saying push into this, well, I can feel that. That's giving me the right information. So that turns the lazy stabilizer on, and you go straight up. Sorry, Luke, how are you going with the squat, tall, kneeling? You okay? And I mean Luke this time.
Very good.
And spread your chest, put those shoulders back when you go up. As you're going up, spread your chest, shoulders back. Because if you try and get that chest out and high, that straightens you up far better. Yep, shoulders back. That's it. Excellent, Luke. That's great.
Look, that's really nice. Well done.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Really nice.
Very nice. Okay then. Yeah, Luke, I actually think you're getting straighter there than you were just 10 minutes ago when you were trying that before. It's really nice.
Way straighter. Way straighter.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good. Alrighty then. So let's see then. So maybe for this, maybe not for Amber or Gary, but for the rest of you, if you wanted to use a door frame or something, we could then do like an assisted squat, holding onto the door frame. You've got your feet like a nice comfortable distance apart, holding on roughly around the middle of the torso.
And the thing is it's much like we were doing with Gary and Joni there. Don't use the door frame to hang off. Use the door frame as information as to if you're holding yourself up with the hands, it's telling you how to recorrect your position. And then ultimately, if the extent to which you can recorrect is insufficient, well, then it is also useful to use the hands as support so you can explore the full position. But ultimately, that's what you're after, is trying to use it as information, more so than a stability post.
So maybe. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
I was saying Gary can use that as well for the for the squat he was the kneeling squat he was doing before.
Yeah. Tom, do you want to go ahead? Do you want to do a few? Well,
Find a door stop.
Yeah, find a door stop. That's it. Yeah. Well done. Now, Tom, I reckon you could, I don't know what Steve would say. I reckon you could hold on to the door frame a little bit to prevent too much spinal extension. So if you can,
Flexion.
sorry?
Flexion.
Sorry, yeah, sorry, yeah, to prevent too much spinal flexion. So, so you can lean back on it a little bit, and that will keep your chest upright. So there, just at that point, your spine goes into quite a lot of flexion.
What I would say on this one is that, number one, get closer to the door frame, because that will mean you won't have room to go into too much flexion. But what you want to do is what's happening is you get pretty much as low as you're going to go, and then because there's the idea of the squat is you get lower. You try to get lower by flexing, when flexing the spine isn't really going to drop your hips anymore. So when it's identified, it's at that point there, do not, you concentrate on dropping the hips and not allowing that spine to flex. So it's like, that's better, mate. Way, way better.
Got my nose on the door frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a winner, isn't it? Remember your breathing, and just get that awareness. That's so much better, that, Tom.
Yeah.
Just get that awareness of that point where your neurology is sort of like going, well, I'm not getting any lower at the hips here, so I'll get lower at the spine. See if you can identify that point, and just as ever, awareness. You get that awareness point. Well, that's the one where you can plug in cognitively then.
Tom, do keep an eye on your right knee as well, because you want to see if you're able to keep that right knee out over your right toe.
That's it. And use the elbows for that if you can, mate.
Well done. Well done. Tom, great work. Great work, mate.
That could be a winner for you, Tom.
That's really nice. Here we go. So, Linda, do you want to give us a couple of reps? Show us what you're doing.
Linda loves
Nice.
it.
Yeah. Nice foot position there. Yeah.
That's
wow, look at that.
Linda.
Wow. That's as smart as your kitchen.
Yeah.
That's
really nice.
You can maybe come out of it a little cleaner, Linda.
Sorry?
Could maybe come out of that squat a little cleaner. I don't know if that was you getting complacent, or if so let's go down again. So remember, breathe in as you go down and keep that air in there when you hit the bottom. So we want a nice controlled out breath when you come up, and keep spreading that chest. Don't allow the hips to move up by themselves. The shoulders have got to be moving up all of the time.
I'm confused. I always thought going up and then breathe in.
Well, maybe that might be the reason. But what you want to do is push your feet through the floor.
Yeah.
That's how you want to think about it. And keep that shoulders high. I was a little bit better. Because what can often, what's a common flaw is that people will seesaw up. They'll keep the shoulders low, they'll push the hips up and then come out of it like a toe touch. Whereas you want to keep that torso, you want to keep that spinal posture exactly as it is now. And then the whole thing just rises up. So
while breathing out.
Yeah. So
I thought breathing in, and when it does work, just breathe in a bit more.
Yeah. So when we try it now, we're going to do it on an out breath, but not.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You can come out of it, because as we know, holding the position too long can expire.
Power is gone.
Yeah. But what you want to look to do is do it with a forced out breath.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Because there's a neurological aspect to how wide the aperture is. to whether you're bringing the air in or the air out. And because of the importance of breathing, there's so much sensitivity and neurological sensitivity around it, and the apparatus of breathing, that it can recognize whether the aperture is big or small, allows for an easy flow, or whether it has to be a forceful one. And so if it's a smaller aperture, it brings more to the party to push it out. But in bringing more to the party, it's bringing more core strength and more core stability to it. And it's the same as breathing in. That's one of the reasons why nasal breathing is more effective than the mouth breathing. Because of the small aperture, you get that greater suck in from the breathing apparatus. So when you put that together with the drive of the feet through the floor, the core stability is what will hold the spine in place over the hips. Drive the feet through the floor, that will work the hips up, and then the core stability will hold the spine going up. Whereas if it's not there, what you get is the hips are really strong, so the hips go up, and then the torso has to follow.
Yeah, yeah, that's my problem.
Well, I think it's a very solvable problem for you. I mean, I think we witnessed it in action. I mean, if you could look back at the video, you'll see that second rise out of the squat is way better than the first one.
Okay, I'll do it. Thank you.
Jules, how are you getting on with the squat?
I know that.
Look at that. It's nice, mate.
That
I
is really nice.
was going to say, make sure your feet are wide enough apart to give yourself enough room and support, but that's seeing magic, mate.
Yeah. Great work. Jules, are you able to do the same thing? If you go back into your stance, go back into the stance that you had, are you able to move your heels outwards a little bit? Yeah, so that and as you go down, try not to turn your toes out, but just keep your knees, kind of keep creating space between your knees, but without moving your feet.
I'm gonna guess that my heels are gonna move in.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. I think.
So now you'll be up against it if you're in socks, really. You don't have much torsion to work with in socks.
Yeah, it's quite rare in the Western world that people have, especially blokes, have enough hip mobility to have the feet pointing forward in the squat.
They didn't move in too much, actually.
Definitely, you don't want them parallel for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I think if you go back to what you had before, because
it's more like that.
Yeah, your feet were they're almost at 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can work with a little bit more of a gentle angle, like Steve said, it'll kind of give you a chance to kind of work into the hips a little bit more, and keep working on opening those knees out so you can. Yeah, that's really good though, Jules. That's anything you'd add to that, Steve, or anything that you want to?
No, I think it's really good. Because I mean, I think my feet would probably be at a very similar angle to Jules. I mean, I wouldn't be like Charlie Chaplin, but I need to be externally rotated. I very much suspect that lack of ankle mobility is as much part of it as hip mobility, as in the ankle should allow some external rotation to have the knees going out without the feet having to go with it. But obviously, if it hasn't got that, the feet have got to go. I'd be interested to hear Gray talk about that. But Yeah, I can't do a feet forward squat, anything near it. Like, that's obviously one of the tests in the FMS, isn't it? Is the feet forward squat to identify mobility baselines, which would be both for the hip and ankle. You know, and the antidote for that is a compensation of lifting the heel, which is essentially raising dorsiflexion. But I suppose trying to get my head around how the dorsiflexion is improved by the hip mobility and or the ankle mobility is one I'd have to spend a bit of time thinking about. Hello, Chelsea.
Hey, Chelsea.
Joined us.
Hi. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Is that what you guys say over there?
We say
Merry
Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Okay, Merry Christmas. Well, like Ellie said Happy Christmas, and you said Happy Christmas, so I'm curious.
Ellie's my daughter, by the way. Anyway, it was good of you to wake up.
Yeah. Here we go then. Okay, so just to finish with then, guys, I thought we could finish the year with a bit of a Turkish get up. So I've got one duet because I thought you can't want to finish the year on with a bit of a flow. And so there's one little drill that you can try before doing the Turkish get up if you want to, and that is I know a few weeks ago we looked at scapular mobility. So we're looking at actually I think we did it in 1990 sitting to begin with. So you can kind of get into your 90-90 posture, and then the arm that you're leading up, the arm that you're leaning into. It doesn't have to be completely vertical, but we're just looking to see if you can get that scapular mobility by pushing through the arm on one side. So the elbow stays straight. Or you can try it with two hands if you like, where you're just seeing if your scapular control can lift your bottom up off the floor. So. And then when we come to do it in the Turkish, where are we? Yeah, we're looking for that same scapular control as well as the hip control. Slide that leg under. But yeah, try that as a drill first, and then if you want to, we can kind of go through. We can so you can either try it, single armed or double handed.
I've got a nice little Christmas variant for Tom, Linda, and Chelsea.
Oh, great!
And and I also think Jules will enjoy this one as well.
Great.
What's that?
I was going to let you do a little scapular rotation first.
Okay.
Don't wish time away, Chelsea.
Oh,
whatever.
So for you there, Gary, you get into a nice 90-90 position where you're resting on that angled arm, which you should be in a relaxed position. Let me get yourself on camera here. So as Chris been displayed, you're in this position on your 90-90, and it's structurally sound, and you should be relaxed with a straight upright spine. But what you can do is just lean into that arm and straighten it a little. So you sag at the spine. And then breathe in and straighten it up. And then you can almost let it deflate. So try not to lean forward. Stay with that nice proud chest or nice proud spine. So when you deflate into it, now don't lean forward, mate. Just let, if you just let the arm sort of go straighten up, and then you sink at the spine only to the side, not to the front. That's it. So it doesn't have to be too far, mate. It doesn't have to be too far. It's a reasonably subtle thing. Then you inflate and you come back up. That looks right. Yeah. Excellent. That looks great, mate. Let's see how Luke's doing with this, Crispin. Are you able to do this, Luke? I say it's a subtle movement.
1990 position, I couldn't do it yet.
Yep. And then, but can you then exhibit the scapular rotation of where if you move towards the hand so that the arm goes a bit more straight. You see if you can put me on at the same time, please, Crispin. Well, Luke, I don't know if you can see the screen. But if you see, I'm in a nice stable 90-90 position. So then what I do, see my spine is straight. But if I just sort of lean in, so my spine's curved now, and this arm has moved from angled to more straight. It's because your scapula has had to rotate. And then you sort of hang in this position. And then you bring it back. And deflate down. Difficult to see you on your camera in that position. Can you do it on the other side so your left arm is down? So try and get that nice high 90-90 position. And sink in, breathe in, and regain the position. Are you just holding the position there, Luke, or are you sinking in and straightening the arm?
I'm holding the position.
Yeah, so what we're after you doing is sinking down, because that will rotate the scapula, and then regain the position. So we want to see you moving into that sloppy position and then regaining the authentic position. Yeah, I think you may benefit from studying the video on this one, Luke.
Yes.
I'll see if I can demonstrate a little Christmas DGU special. Yeah, you have a wonderful adjunct of a shoe. In the TGU on a fist. Now I'm quite rapidly going to go out of picture here, aren't I? In a moment. Super. That might be all right with that. So, if you have the shoe balanced and it's on a fist, and obviously the bit there at the fist is the flat surface, what that means is we've got to keep this arm vertical, completely straight. And so it's something which again is going to speak to your neurology about keeping this arm vertical through every aspect. Off the get up. Now I'm actually running out of space here. I'm still on screen.
Yeah, I hear you.
I get up from here, but drop the shoe.
Great.
Yeah. Now notice I'm staring at the shoe throughout. Gives you all of the information.
Show off.
Sorry?
I said show off.
Well, I'm sure you are going to follow that impeccably, Tang.
Oh yeah. Well, I have a kettlebell.
Well, don't balance that in your fist. That might be a little too exciting.
I know. But I have everything.
Now, what you can obviously do to cut yourself a little bit of slack, if the fingers start to come ever so slightly out of a fist, that can allow you to deviate at the wrist, which will be a little bit more forgiving.
You can't do palm?
No, let's go with the fist thing. You're up to this.
I've done this a long time.
Yeah, but you've been all that time you've been improving, so get your breathing. Or you can do it with a hand then.
I'm trying.
Focus on your breathing all the way through this.
Nope.
Just that is awesome, Tink. Think about the roll.
I don't like doing this.
That was magnificent, Tink. That was brilliant. That was really, really good.
It's okay. I hit myself in the face.
Yeah, that was the best bit.
Good thing it wasn't a kettlebell.
Yeah, I guess.
Chelsea, that was magic. Now, if you consider that was just 2 tries off the cuff, a little bit of practice, I've no question that you can get up into the kneeling position, balancing that. But and you might be able to find a more conducive shoe, slightly more given one than one of your chucks. But that was brilliant.
Well, it was flat. It was flat in my hand.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But Linda,
I don't think I can do it, but
I didn't think I could do it, but I got confidence.
Whether you think
my
you can
left
or think you
arm
can't,
is,
you're probably right. So
Yeah.
let's start thinking that you can.
my left arm isn't that good, but
Looks like a promising start. Keep staring at it, Linda.
Yeah.
Use your
And
breathing.
breathing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it keeps telling you where you need to move it.
yeah, my right arm is stable, but I can do Turkish get up on my left, so
Try it again.
Steve, I'm going to have to go at 7:30.
Yeah.
But I can make you host if you like.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
wow.
Bring your arm more to your head. Arm to your head. That's brilliant, Linda. Yes. Use your breathing.
Oops.
Oh,
Yeah, that was better.
was really good. Really good.
Oh.
No, that's
Linda.
At least it
even
wasn't
harder.
a kettlebell.
It's even harder than the hip mobility drill, I reckon. That's really... Guys, I'm sorry I'm going to have to go. But really, Happy New Year and great work. Great work today, guys.
Kristen.
Thanks, Kristen.
And
Cheers,
see
Kristen.
you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, Kristen. All right, bye.
Cheers, mate.
See you.
Tom, you ready to have a go, mate?
I'll go. Sure.
Use your breathing. You got to use really slow movements, but every technical quality aspect of the Turkish get up, like you need that right leg more angled, mate. In fact, you probably want the left one a little more angled as well, so you can drive the rotation more. There you go. And that was great. Now, the only reason that came off then was because you went too quick. And as ever, we say that, you will naturally or automatically go quick if you haven't got confidence that you've got control through that range. And so what you want to use it to do is to try to go as slowly as you can through that range to reveal the technical deficiencies. And then, as ever, it starts with awareness. So if it can give you the awareness of where you need to concentrate, then you know that's the start of the path.
Well, I guess I've always thought about, you said to drive the elbow. So when I think drive, I think a burst of energy. And so maybe that's where I need to focus on slow drive.
Yeah, well, if I'm 100% with you, and this is potentially one of the most technically demanding areas of the movement. Is that movement, and you have to get so many things. You can really feel yourself bringing mobility options in to keep the integrity of alignment under the, well, for the takes, get up under the weight or under whatever it is you're carrying. And so at this point here, you've got to get sufficiently rotated so you're underneath it. And then it's going to come forward. And then if you can, you can see the elbow and the hand. And then first of all, I can really feel this foot engaging with the floor and driving the rotation at the hip. Okay. That's going to come across here. And then as this comes forward, you'll see that the hand will come up slowly and come over. And then just doing that, you can feel the connection of the elbow to the floor, and you can feel the drive you're getting from there. But it's a combination of that foot driving down and just move that as slowly and gracefully as you want the whole thing to go, and it will control it. So you'll come from here, and then, and you can do that without the shoe there. Use an imaginary shoe and just come slowly, and you can see this hand here. So to drive the movement. And you don't even need to know how you're doing it. If you just do it, you'll be aware that that's like the control lever. If you want, give us one more go at that, Tom. So you've got to get that left leg and right leg angled. So the right leg's to allow you the rotation. The left leg's pointing 6 o'clock, mate. It's got to be out towards 5 o'clock. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to drive. The left leg, mate. California left.
Yeah, right. Doesn't go much further in it, right?
Up. So nice and slow. Stare at it. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Tom, so good at that, mate. And it was that sort of trying to shift into the position there. And what you want to do is that bit where you went, oh, I've got to shift, is first of all just get awareness of what wasn't quite in the right position. Mm-hmm. And then you'll start to just get that. You'll just inherently start to get the knowledge of what you need to do to get there. What more you need to bring to the party on that. But that was brilliant, mate.
Thank you.
Hey, as a late entry from TJ. Jules, do you want to have a crack with the shoe, or do you just want to have a go at the Turkish get up, mate? To you.
Give it a go, yeah.
Yeah, good man.
I've only got a boot, unfortunately.
Are they what our American friends would call high tops?
Kind of, I guess, yeah.
I don't know. I'm putting it over to the specialists. Kelsey,
yeah, they're called high tops.
Hey, you got high tops, Jules. That's kind of cool.
That's not a boot. That's a high top.
That right foot's pointing at 6 o'clock, mate. That needs to be out towards 7 as a minimum. Awkward finding the balance point on high tops. Big challenge. Use your breathing, mate.
That's a good start.
Cool.
Stare at the shoe and focus on your breathing. Not bad, mate. Not bad.
Arm's not very straight though, is it?
Yeah, I was just gonna talk the others through on that one. Like,
Yeah.
well, what we need is the straight arm here. Now, if we're gonna have the straight arm here, we need a load of mobility at the hips and the spine, and then also this correct, sufficient rolling pattern, and then we need the quality everywhere. Now, if you haven't got that, that's going to drive the arm in a different angle, and that's why it's really informative to the your neurology. If you've got something to balance rather than a weight, which is going to be a challenge to whatever pattern you've already got, you need information.
Are you talking about the straight arm on the ground? Because I'm talking about the straight arm going
up. Yeah. And well, what I was then going to go on to is if you haven't got all of this range of motion here, what Jules's neurology sort of like said, well, tell you what, let's get range of motion here, which he's able to get away with until he starts coming up to this position, which, well, the arm already needs to be straight, because if you try and straighten the arm from here, it's going to go through a range of movement that's going to topple the shoe, or from here. So concentrate on the straight arm, and want the shoes there to teach you. So if you're finding a point in the Turkish get-up where you can't do it with the straight arm, don't bend the arm and get past it, because you're then missing the lesson. You can't get past. If you can't get past it, pause, breathe, and try to understand, listen to what your neurology is telling you of what needs to do what, and it might be telling you, look, this needs to do it, but it can't. This is at its maximum. And then you get the awareness of where you need to look to develop change. Where are we going next? Is TJ here? Hey, TJ, how you doing, mate?
Hello.
Yeah, we're actually Merry Christmas, by the way, bud. We're just into the last drill of the session, mate, which is the Turkish get-up, and so I will go to Gary. Still with us? No, Gary's gone. That's a shame, because he knows the bottom half of the Turkish get-up. And how familiar are you with the Turkish get-up? Can you get to the seated position with it?
Seated. Jewel.
Yep.
Hi, Julie. How you doing? Merry Christmas, darling.
Oh, sorry.
Here.
Tell me again.
Yeah, well, after the Turkish get-up to the seated position.
Okay, the Turkish get up to the seated position.
Okay.
Sorry, you need to translate my accent. I understand.
Well, it's a little hard for him to hear, but I'm trying to make it a little more quiet.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. The really important thing is getting all the aspects of the setup right. Breathe in first, and then you're going to breathe out as you go through the first aspect of the movement, which is the reach to the other hand. That's brilliant, mate. Keep that. Yes. Mate, that's awesome. Now see if you can keep that. That's it. Keep that right heel down. Now go back down onto the elbow.
No, still right.
So you're gonna go onto your left elbow. So you're gonna reverse what you did, but rotate, mate. Don't bring that right arm towards it. That's it. Now you're gonna go back down onto the shoulder, but in doing so, you're gonna reach with that right hand to the left hand. Reach over there, and as you're going back down onto the shoulder, keep reaching towards the hand. Keep reaching. See how controlled that was? Because you were reaching with the hand. And now sort of keep reaching so that you slowly roll back. Excellent. I'll do the same to the other side, bud. That's really impressive, that, TJ. And make sure that left leg's out to an angle. Because so much of this is aided by driving that left heel into the floor. But it's got to be at an angle so we can drive rotation. That's it. Drive that foot in, left foot in and reach. You can drive the left foot in again when you draw the arc. Drive that left foot in and reach. Draw the arc, reach for the floor. Right, TJ, relax. I'll just flick it on to me. Can you see the screen, TJ?
Yes.
Right. So what's happening is what you want to do. You want to do reach round. Now see how my chest is facing over here. And then I keep my chest so it's low. I rotate round. And then I come up like that. And that, same as I come back down. That's no work at all. It's like a spiral staircase going up. But instead, if you open out and you try to come up here, it's like trying to perform a sit-up. And so, you know, the legs coming up, but it's a battle. So you reach out and then keep the hand on the floor and keep reaching and rolling. And you come round, like, think of it, you're going up a spiral staircase, mate. Driving with this hand, sorry, this foot, so it's pushing me round. And I come round like that. Give it another little go, mate. You get you on screen. And pause again and get a full in breath. And then breathe out. Keep reaching, keep rotating. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Reach for the foot, reach for the foot. Yeah, now you can just pull that right hand a little more underneath you, the right hand. That's it. You're seated up perfectly now, mate. TJ, outstanding. Excellent. Absolutely outstanding, mate. What a difference in quality between that one and the one before.
Good coaching.
Outstanding, bud. Luke, you there, mate?
Yes. I can perform a TGU, but I cannot do the shoe stuff.
Yeah, don't worry about the shoe, mate. That's really good. Really good, mate. Really good, Luke. Luke, just look in a second, mate.
Thank you.
Luke, just look in a sec. What you'll really benefit from is breaking it down into individual sections and pausing at each section. Because what you did was fine, but you sort of went use momentum and come round like that. Now that's fine, and it's a demonstration of skill, but that allows you to use momentum to get away with imperfections. But also, if you do it slowly, you become aware of the imperfections, and that's the first step to solving them and cleaning up the pattern. So what you want to do is onto the shoulder, pause, flip the hand over as you're coming up to here, then pause, then reach to the foot, bring the hand up, pause, then lift up, pause, bring the knee to the hand. But you see how I did an arc with the foot? So I suppose you can think of it as foot to foot. In fact, this is the most progressive way of doing it, is from seated up, bring the foot to the foot, and then lift, knee under. You don't have to bring the knee anywhere near as far. So that's, you want to have a go at that on the other side?
Yeah. Right.
I think that right foot could be a little bit further out. That's too straight there, mate. It's not going to help. That's it. Won't help with the rotation. Cool. So go back to the start, Luke. Go back to the start. We'll make sure we get everything in the right position before we start. That's it. Pause there. I've flipped the arm on the elbow. That's it. Now pause. Now keep pause. Stop at it. Yeah.
What?
Now bring the knee to the hand. Now it'll make a big difference. Bring the knee inside. Bring your knee inside the hand. Left knee to the left hand, and then now come up into the position. Excellent. I'll come back down and have the left hand outside the left knee outside. That's it. Ooh, no, put it back outside. That's really good though, Luke. You've got a lot you can build on there, mate. All right, so Amber, I guess you were quite happy just watching on that one.
I can only roll one way. It's about
yeah.
it. I can do that. That's it.
That was nice. So what you can do with that, and you can use your recovery time to concentrate on things like this.
Okay, I will.
If you can concentrate,
find a shoe and get it going.
Yeah, you can concentrate on coming from here, and then at the same time,
Okay.
hand and coming to there, because you've seen. Then you went there, and then you flip that. You want to work on trying to make it a graceful transition that you don't need momentum for, that you can breathe in. And then breathe in. If you get your setup correct, it will mean that you don't have to readjust in the next posture. Now, if you find yourself that you need to readjust, absolutely do so. But you can aspire to be able to move through the whole of the movement.
Mm-hmm.
Where you never have to readjust. And so that's something, even just that part of the progression that you did there, you can just focus on pouring some quality into that. And all of the skills that you learn in the TGU are so applicable. There's so many more patterns. It's incredible. In fact, you won't find a complex pattern that isn't represented by the TGU in some way. I think everyone's had a go at this one, haven't they? So, any questions on anything before we call it a day? Sorry, you were only in at the end, TJ.
No problem. Girls.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about kettlebells. Do we need to get any if we don't have any?
Don't need to, but they're a real asset. In so many ways, they're an instructive asset as well as a challenge. Like a classic weighted asset. Big difference between them and dumbbells is the way that the weight is offset, and so you're always having to be aware and then compensate would be the wrong word, but take into account the shift in center of gravity that's caused by the weight being offset to the center of your hand. Like if you've got a dumbbell, the center of gravity is still in the middle of the hand, so that doesn't challenge or add different information to your neurology. That's the great thing about the kettlebell, is that it's an information adjunct as much as it's a weighted challenge. So there's so many uses for it. So I would, not essential, mate, by any stretch of the imagination, but really useful. I think. Is anyone else want to let them know how useful they've been for them?
Well, I think it's been awesome for me. It kind of Steve's talked about how the kettlebell shows how you where your weight is, and it tells you where to put your arm and whatnot, because it's so heavy, and it just depends on your side. Like I was 10 pound, 15 pound, now 20 pound, but I use the lightest one for a long time on the Turkish get up and my tongue kneeling. I mean, there's a lot. So I would, I know it's not mandatory you get a kettlebell, but it is helpful. It's just a helpful tool, and it's cool doing it, and it makes you feel good. And they're like, yeah, I got a kettlebell, and not a lot of gyms have them now, but they are actually really handy. So it's good if you want to get one. But yeah, they've helped me a lot.
Oh, okay.
And as an example, it's for that information about where you are. The kettlebell, it talks to your neurology about how you need to adjust to maintain stability, with a brilliant example being the bottom up position. Because whereas that will talk to you still. Gonna have to move the other side of the room for this. You can use the bottom up position, which will, never mind talk to you, it'll absolutely scream at you. Whereas that will tell you need to keep integrity of alignment underneath that. But it just tells you all of the time. It tells you where you can't go, where you have to go, and what you need to do to achieve it. And it just does it in the best way. It teaches you by feel instead of me gobbing off, which, you know, it's your neurology will be 10 times the coach I can ever be like. So they're really good bits of kit, mate.
So in kilogram, what start with lower?
Definitely,
that's
yeah.
a 10, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a 10.
Yeah. So start with what?
So Chelsea, what have you got? The 3 you've got, I think.
I have a 10, a 15, and a 20 pound.
Yeah. So divide each one by 2, and you've roughly got it.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
For the Turkish getup, I've used a 10 pound, which is 4.5 kilograms. I wouldn't go higher than that. That would be really. I wouldn't start with anything higher than that.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean if you're using the kettlebell in the down position, that can allow you to sort of muscle through. It will talk to you about where you should be, but if you can put enough drive in it, you can still get to the next position. So it still teaches you. If you put it in the bottom up position, then that won't tolerate failure. It insists you go where you need to, and so there's a role for both in that sense. But both of them need to be, quite light.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone?
Oh, I do. Pick me.
I'm
Kidding.
Yeah. Are you able to do a session tomorrow, Tink?
No, I don't think I'll be back. There's a chance I might be back, but I might not. So is anybody available tomorrow? I might be, but I may not be.
Now, I should be able to start a session off and assign somebody the host if everyone wants to get together. That would be fine.
Okay.
But if I'll throw that one out there. But other than that, I don't think Chelsea can make it for sure tomorrow. And so, I mean, as I say, I can say I'll be available, and if everyone, as soon as somebody dials in, I'll just make them the host, and I'll drop off, and then I'm sure Chelsea will take the session if she is available.
Yeah, if I'm available. Who knows? I don't know. I have a window of opportunity, but I don't know if the window's gonna be like closed. Not. So we'll see. But I hope everybody had a great Christmas and be safe driving this weekend.
Well, what I'll do is I'll put a thread in the forum for anyone who wants to just join and a session which, I don't know, just everyone gets together and you can chat. And if anyone's up for it, join that thing, and I'll start a session off and make someone the host. I'm away in a hotel with the missus tomorrow, so it'll be more than my life's worth to do a movement project tomorrow, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, I will let everybody know, but as long as Steve drops a thread, then we'll see.
All righty. So
And I'll be good for next week.
Yeah. So other than that, I will see you on Saturday the 30th.
Good.
No.
All right,
And you
Fiona.
know that New Year's Eve is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And 12:30, 1:23. It's crazy. I just thought I'd let everybody know.
It's a sign.
Practice 1, 2, 3s. All right.
All right. See you, everyone. Ta-ra.
Take care. Bye.
Awesome,
Thank
mate.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, TJ, just while you're on, mate, I saw you doing a bit of practicing.
Thank you. Just saying thank you.
Yeah, TJ, I just saw you. You're practicing there, and remember the big thing. Hey, look. The big thing for your Turkish get up there, mate, is remember if that leg is. Hang on, put yourself on.
If you're a soldier.
Yeah, if that leg is popping up, it's because you're too open here.
Yeah.
You need to be over, reaching over. And certainly what you can do from here is keep the hand on the floor all the way around. You know, you can reach, but this leg, if that's pushing, you can push yourself over with that. You know, if you start to come up, get that leg down and just think, get long. As far as your movement and tension is, get long in the leg. Get long in the leg and make sure you're rotated round. Exactly like that, mate. That's brilliant.
That's my weak side.
Yeah, well, that's your weak side, mate. Your strong one,
Yeah.
pretty impressive. That's great. Your improvement's been brilliant, TJ. Absolutely brilliant.
Well, keep working.
Yeah, exactly. Your speech has improved hugely as well.
Good.
Yeah. All right then, mate. I'll cut off. Although I'll just remind you that Liverpool's top of the league. All right, mate. Happy New Year as well, mate. Oh, I'll see you before the New Year. I'll see you before then. Ta-ra, bud.